Welcome everyone, we are here at the next video on my channel Goalball Tournaments portrayed by Ernst Kreusel. Today we talk about the first division of German Championship, which happened on last weekend. At first I will talk in general about the defense at this championship, because the defense wasn't what I expected. It wasn't a disaster like the second division of German Championship, but also here some games, in my opinion it wasn't what the first division of German Championship stands for. Now I talk about the standing. First place Rostock, Nürnberg second, Chemnitz third, Marburg fourth place, fifth place is Dresden and sixth place Leipzig. It wasn't what I expected. I thought Chemnitz will be first, second Marburg, third Rostock, fourth Dresden, fifth Nürnberg, sixth Leipzig. But for Leipzig, I can tell you on the sixth place, they played better than I thought. They impressed me positively. On fifth place Dresden, I thought they can beat Nürnberg, but they didn't reach that. But in general about Dresden, I can tell you, although they only won one game, theoretically they could win every game if you look on how the games ran. Against Chemnitz it was a terrible start. After 5 minutes the score was 7-1 for Chemnitz and the final score was 12-8. So if you don't count the first 5 minutes, it would be a 7-5 for Dresden. Against Rostock, they scored with the first throw, the first goal, and defend the 1-0 for 4 minutes. And even after the 1-1, they came back with a 2-1. And 1 minute before halftime, the score was 4-3 for Rostock. And then Rostock scored 4 goals in 1 minute. And that was the beginning of the end for Dresden. And the final score was 13-5 for Rostock. Against Nürnberg, they leaded 1-0, also with the first throw scored. And then they made 2 dumb mistakes, because the center player, that's me, made a false defense, and that was the reason for the 2 goals. And then also in the last minute of the first half, they got 3 goals against. That was the beginning of the end. In the second half, when the scores was 8-1 for Nürnberg, Dresden fought back with 4 scored goals in 5 throws. Then the game closed again, but Nürnberg managed it to defend the lead. And the game against Marburg was the same. Dresden leaded 3-0 and at halftime 3-2. But in the second half, Marburg made a substitution. They played with the second row of the lineup in the first half, and then Amanda Dennis came on the court and she changed the game with scoring the first goal with her first throw, and in the end it was an 8-4 win for Marburg. So yeah, you can tell that Dresden needs to learn how to defend the lead. On fourth place, Marburg. It was, that was because Marburg often played with the second row of the lineup, and then they changed to Michael Dennis or Amanda Dennis, the best players in their lineup. But yeah, against Nürnberg, for example, the score was 11-4 at halftime for Nürnberg. Then they substituted Amanda and Michael, and the final score was 19-15 for Marburg. So yeah. But against Rostock, for example, they lost 13-16. That was also because Michael and Amanda didn't play in the first half. In the second half, Michael went to the court and they fighted back, but the decision was that Nils Emmig, the right wing player, got 5 goals against during 1.5 minutes. And that was a thing that I didn't understand, because the coach didn't substitute him. I would mean, if a player gets 5 goals against, or even already 3 goals against in a minute, the coach has the obligation to take the player away the court. And yeah, if you look on the final score, 13-16, don't count these 5 goals, and Marburg would win 13-11. And yeah, that was the reason why they finished as bad. The third place, Chemnitz. That was because the center player, Martin Burkhardt, was ill and he wasn't able to play because of that. And also the right wing player, Oliver Horauf, who is one of the best players in the world. He had an injury on his hand. He didn't miss the stage, but he couldn't play with 100%. That was the reason why Chemnitz didn't reach the first place. Second place, Nürnberg. They played better than I thought. Won against Chemnitz, against Dresden, against Leipzig. Against Rostock, they lost 6-7. And against Marburg, as far as I said, 15-19. Although they lead it by 11-4 at the halftime. And that's a thing, yeah. I would mean, if you lead by 11-4, you have to win the game. Even if the other team substitutes two of the world's best players. If you lead by 11-4 at halftime, you have the obligation to win the game. And if you don't, that's your own fault. And the first place, Rostock, I didn't expect that they will be the first place, because I thought they will lose against Marburg and Chemnitz, but against Chemnitz they won 15-5, and against Marburg, as far as I said, 16-13. But the reason for winning against Marburg, I already told, because they played with the second row in the first half, and in the second half it was because of the 5 goals Nils Emmig got. And then Marburg fought back. But in this case, I can also mention that Felix Rogge, a player of Rostock, threw 2 long balls when the score was 16-11. So yeah, they lead it by 5 goals, but nevertheless he threw 2 long balls. That's a thing I don't understand, because if you lead with 5 goals, you should play without any risk. And Felix Roger is a national player, so he must know this. And nevertheless, he threw 2 long balls. And also Renatide at the end, in the last minute, the score was 16-12. He also threw a high ball. And yeah, but it wasn't enough for Marburg. And against Chemnitz with 15-5, that was because what I told about Chemnitz, and also because Oliver Horauf didn't play what he can. Because I would mean, if Oliver Horauf would have played what he can, the score would be otherwise, maybe 15-5 for Chemnitz. Because in my opinion, if you have one player who can hit the points on the defense row of Rostock, who must hit, you can destroy the defense. And that's the point. I don't mean that Rostock is bad, but yeah, you can destroy the defense row of Rostock if you play what you have to do. If you do what you have to do. That was the point. That was the reason why Marburg almost won against Rostock, because they found the points of the defense. They had to. But yeah, Rostock won every game, so I have to say congratulations to Rostock for reaching the first place, but it doesn't mean that they also become German champion, because we already have a second stage in October, and then we will have the final decision who will win the German championship in 2021. And again, Rostock never won the German championship in history before. So yeah, we will see if they can defend the first place, or if another team comes to get the first place. We don't know. Yeah, that's the end of the video. Thanks for joining me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video when I talk again about the Paralympic Games. See you then, take care, and goodbye.